In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a gradient background. And as you can see, I've already started by creating a little one-page site in Dreamweaver. And I've used one of Dreamweaver's starter pages. And this sort of brown area on either side of the container and the sidebar and so forth and so on, that's what I want to change to some particular gradient background. You see those a lot on, well, you'll certainly see it on the 401 homepage. Now, in order to do that, I'm going to have to use another program, and there's lots of them you can use. I just happen to be using FireWorks because it works well. And with FireWorks launched, I'm just simply going to create a new document. Now, what the logic is we are going to create a graphic that has the gradient that we want. And then we're going to put a background color on the body as well as using that gradient as a background image and make the two of them blend together. Now, one of the tricks is that browsers will what's called tile, that is, they'll repeat an image. And under CSS, you could make an image repeat either from left to right or up and down. In this case, we're going to do it from left to right, just repeat our gradient image along the x-axis. Now, we don't want a very big image, because if it were a big image, then there would be a lot of downloading and overhead and all the rest of that stuff. So we're going to make this particular image about 20 pixels wide, exactly 20 pixels wide. We're also going to make it about 600 pixels high. And the logic is 600 pixels is probably where most pages will display when you first open them up in a browser. And after those 600 pixels, we're going to be able to have the background color come into play. So first of all, let's create this new document, this 20 by 60. And it doesn't matter what color I'm using. I'm just going to use white. That's quickly going to change. And that's going to be the dimensions and the size roughly of our gradient background. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over and grab the rectangle tool, and I'm just going to draw a rectangle right over this entire canvas. Now, right now, that rectangle is this kind of red color, and I want a gradient. So the way to change it is to go, and again, this is FireWorks. Other graphic programs will work somewhat differently, but with FireWorks, I'm going to go to the Properties Inspector with my graphic, with my rectangle selected. And rather than picking the default solid, I'm going to pick gradient. And the kind of gradient that I'm going to pick is a linear gradient. And when I release the mouse, you can see it goes from white to red. Now that happens not to be the colors that I want for my background. So I'm going to come over to, as you can see, there's a paint bucket here, and that's the fill. And I'm going to just hold that down until I see this little dialog. And there are two colors represented here. And this is the starting color, obviously, and this is the ending color. And so this is what it's going to look like if I don't do anything else. But in fact, I want to start with a dark color. So in this particular instance, I'm going to go with start with a forest green. And I'm going to end with a kind of a very light green, or something like that. Now, the exact colors are not important for the moment. You can pick whatever colors you want. So that's the basis of my gradient background. And I'm now going to export that out. You can see that it's a very small file. And I am using a JPEG here because this is a continuous set of tones, and JPEGs work very well for that. And since the file is so small, I could probably even make the quality, bring it up just a little bit, and you can see it doesn't really affect the size of the file. So I'm just going to export this out, and I'm going to come to the folder where I've got my site defined, and I'm going to call the name of this file gradient background, BG, and just export it out. And for all intents and purposes, I'm done with FireWorks. So now I'm going to come to Dreamweaver, and this is the background color on either side of the container, and this is what I want to change. So in order to do that, I'm going to see all the styles that come with the particular starter page that I've chosen, and I'm going to select the body, and I'm going to edit the body. Now you can see the background color is already been set, but that's not the background color that I want. Before I set the background color, however, I'm going to set the background image. So remember, I'm putting this on the body, and I'm going to browse to that gradient image that I just created. And just for starters, so I can see what it looks like, I'm going to click Apply. And you can see right now what's happening is that the image is being tiled from left to right, but also from top to bottom. And I don't want to do that. So I'm going to select for background repeat, simply repeat X. And when I click Apply, you can see that the old background color shows at the bottom, but the new background image rather, shows at the top. So what I want to do now is I want to match the background color to the tone, the shade of green that's the bottommost shade of green in my background image. And I can do that fairly simply. I'm going to select the color picker, and it'll automatically turn into an eyedropper, and I'll just click that. And when I click Apply, you can see that I got my background color matching the bottom color of my background image. And we can just look at that in a browser, and you can see the effect. Now, those colors may not be to your liking. They're not particularly to mine. But whatever colors you use, that's the trick. You use a background image on your body that you repeat along the x-axis only, and then the background color for your body matches the color, the shade that's at the very bottom of your background image. And so the effect is one merges into the other.